Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Grim Dawn. We are playing with a Drain Essence Death Knight on hardcore and we've reached ultimate difficulty. So last time we made it to the Broken Hills through all Arcovia, and since then I've done another one run and I managed to score myself another Spectral War Shield, and contrary to the previous ones, this one actually is equipable. It has the right level, but it also has the increased stats, so the increased chance of affecting multiple targets. Furthermore, it has a very nice resistances built into it. Pierce res, fire res, and of course the obligatory vitality resistance. And I figured rather than just doing some crafting in between episodes, let's just start the episode with it and see if we can make something worthwhile out of this. Additionally, I also found these gloves. They've got a little bit more armor than the old ones. Elemental resistance down 5 percentage points, but I'm gaining chaos resistance in exchange for losing some poison resistance. So total resists down, armor up a little bit, and it has chaos, which is more difficult to apply via the what are they called again? The augments, yes, the green things. Whereas poison is a little bit easier to come by. So I think that is something that is potentially fixable. There's also a little bit of offensive ability and spirit on here, which is just nice to have, and the spirit will replace a little bit the spirit that we're losing on the shield. Usually just swap out the things that you want to replace, and then, well, for components, that's gonna be a given. We will have a Wrath shard thingamabob on there. So that's a Wrathstone, that is. I always have a couple of those handy for swapping around a gear.
I'll keep an eye out.
So let's put the aura up. So in terms of damage, we shouldn't really have changed too much. And indeed, we lost about 130 points. Well, actually, yeah, that does make sense because, of course, the Unholy Inscription gives a decent chunk of damage. So let's put also one of those in as well. Okay, that's 50 more points. Then we had the Essence of Catan on here. Well, Chaos is still not optimal, so we might as well do it. This is for handheld things, so that is in this bag. I'm overflowing with augments, so I've requisitioned a second bag for all the armor only ones. And then the things for the hand slots and for your jewelry go in here. Then that was the Essence of Catan, that one goes on here. So 73% chaos rest, that is very, very nice. And damage is now actually 7 points higher. No, it's still 23% point lower. I wrote down some notes for the Drain Essence damage that was listed here, as well as some health, energy, regen, numbers like that, and of course offensive and defensive ability. Okay, so net we're losing a little bit of damage, which actually makes sense because I lost spirit. Also lost quite a chunk of physique and some cunning, so that should have impact on the offensive and defensive ability. But that's all just details. The main reason for picking this shield is it has the better chances and targets for Drain Essence, so it's just a higher tier shield. And it blocks more damage whenever it blocks something. The old one is 842, new one is 1010. So that's nearly 170 points of added damage blocked. And that by itself just makes it worth upgrading. Then for this one I had the Ether and Chaos Res on there. Looks like we can still use it. What was it called? Mankind's Vigil. The M goes for M before N. And then okay, so Chaos is now maxed, Ether at 78, PS is overcapped by 29 points, Fire overcapped by 62 points, and that is the important part. There is the King's Guard powder, that's Pierce and Poison resistance. We don't need the Pierce part anymore, because we're overcapped at 29. And there's some other things that have the Pierce and Fire resistance. And while looking at what the Rowari of the rovers offer, they have a 15% poison and acid resistance augment. So I figured let's just do some swapping. We take out the old one, put in a new one, and fire is still good and pierce is still good. And now poison is nearly maxed. Is there another swapperoo that we can do? Pierce and fire on the shoulder guards, so we can replace that one with the new one. And now poison is overcapped a little bit, fire is overcapped by 40, cold by 19, lightning by 14, pierce by 15, bleed by 8, vitality by 27, ether is not yet capped, it is 2 points shy of being capped, and chaos is exactly at 80. So the resistances became massively better from this. And in the end I only lost a couple points of damage, but I gained multiple targets for it, so in the end I think our effective damage output went up. In terms of life, I lost 200... No, yeah, just 200 points of life. Energy, 30 points, so that is negligible. Offensive ability actually went up by 4 points and defensive ability went down by 30. And my armor went up by an average of 27. So most of the stats just negligible changes. The big winners are block damage, drain essence, and my resistances. And of course resistances are pretty darn important. So let's put some more old gear in. I had half a mind of maybe equipping these, but after I did the run, I figured, okay, these are the 3 items I'm considering. Just keep them in my inventory, close the game, and then for the next play session, look at them with another fresh set of eyes. And I figured these Celicor's March boots, they're not quite gonna be helpful, because the Mage Lord Greaves have just so many good things. Mage Lord Greaves have health, they have offensive and defensive ability, a bit of energy regen, less movement speed. The ones I'm considering have more movement speed. Ether instead of chaos resistance, slow resistance. Well, it's sort of kind of helpful, but not a first priority level of resist. Whereas the new boots would have pierce, which well is helpful, but we've just maxed it. And there's no relevant skill bonuses on the new one, so this is especially why I'm like, no, in the end we're not gonna go with it. So hello here, Mr. Merchant, you can have the boots. So with a crafting session out of the way, of course, we must of course make the gear look shiny. Let's see, that's maybe a little bit too much, but I like the more bluish, runish look. Ooh, Empowered Soul's Touch also look kind of nice, and then you got the greenish. So now that we're all stylish, let's see if we can get to the steps of Torment. Just for the quest, not for the dungeon. I'm gonna do all the dungeons after we take out the final end boss of Ashes of Malmouth. For now though, we have all the auras up, so we should be able to go out and kill things. Oh, come on. Yeah, there we are. It is good just having my resistances in a very decent state again. Always get a little bit nervous when I've got some gaps in my resist, especially now that we have reached ultimate. Because don't forget, if you're resisting 80% of the damage, then of course only 20% of the damage is going through. If you're resisting 60% of the damage, then 40% of the damage is going through. So effectively you're taking twice as much damage from those elements as you would when you would have 80%. And I have a very strong suspicion that the game is balanced around that 80% resistance actually being something that you always have. So if you would have 0 points of resistance, for example, in that case you're taking 5 times the damage then that you're supposed to be taking. And then things really hurt. Not quite sure if there are target numbers for physical damage, because of course there's no resist here, but it is in in the stats here, but it's a secondary resistance. And of course we have armor that also acts as a sort of a kind of a physical resistance as well. Okay, we are stumbling over here. Always nice, just grab the hidden spoils here. Mythical Shield Guard of the Paragon. Hey, Paragon of Panetti. 2-part set, that sounds pretty cool. Panetti is of course a Arcanist skill, so it's not going to be relevant for me. But I do like Panetti's replicating missiles. Hello there, Mr. Reflective. Okay, so he's bouncing back quite some damage there. It's not that he's doing a lot of damage, it's that I'm doing a lot of damage that he's bouncing back. And there we go. Hello there, Calderos. How are you today? I will do as you ask. Get some reputation from you. And then we will kill Grand Priest Zatozelen. In another place filled with undead and with ghosts. And especially those ghosts, they might drop some nice new shields for me. Always on the lookout for more shields. Oh, there's a priest in the back. Never a fan of priests. The undead do keep streaming in here. Okay. There's just a couple of random undeads, then I'm not really gonna bother too much. Hello, ghosties. You are potentially wearing my shield, so let's have a look if we can find you. Ooh, triggered some shields in there. Oh, we got Drugor the Tormented. Level 92, 6 levels above me. Summoning some ghosties. Well, in terms of damage output, he hits for a couple thousand points, and then you instantly recover the life. Wait, is there still something alive? I have no idea. But on that, it's always a tricky question anyway. Are they alive? Are they dead? Are they somewhere in between? Just make sure they are permanently dead or lifeless. Nice large chest here. Flame Revenants, goodbye. Oh, I actually forgot. I probably should have had a chat with the rovers, which I could actually still do. We can of course portal to Old Arkovia and then have a chat at the bounty table for the rovers. I mean, I'm dealing with a lot of undead here. Rovers hate undead, so that's a bit of a natural combination. That sometimes you're gonna get questies that you're just gonna naturally solve while going through the area. So let's have a look. Oligarchs, blah blah blah, Old Arkovia, blah blah blah. Sounds more like a specific kill quest, so let's do the next one. Skeletal monstrosity known as Groom in the Crumbling Watch in Arkovia Foothills. That's close to the Spined Cove. So next, that's not where we're going. The vile undead roaming the Arkovian ruins. Skeletal Knights. Yes, kill a number of Skeletal Knights. Well, I can accept that. Because that's not just a generic type of skeleton, they will occur here. In the previous run I did of Old Arkovia, I had a bounty for killing revenants. That's what triggered me to the idea of maybe just adding a bounty to the run. You got some reward in the end, but it's you're gonna get your hello. Sometimes you also get some extra spawns, and in the end it's just good. And it's not even necessarily for the reputation bonus with the rovers that I'm doing it, but just with the reputation penalty that you often get with the faction that you are fighting. So it just makes it easier to get a nemesis status with them. Because there's still a lot of undead to kill before they consider me to be their nemesis.
I can't do that yet.
Yes, let's just have a bit of a shout. And level 87. Okay, that's our skeletons. So let's have a look. Another 2 points. So decomposition is now maxed out at 17 out of 12. Still tempted for blood boil, but I think I might just put another 1 point into drain essence just to increase my damage a little bit further. Do we have something on the soldier side? Yeah, we still have fighting spirit that can benefit from more points because this is a source of offensive ability, which is good. So boosted our damage a little bit. We definitely need more physique now to pull that one up. And we went from 7700 to 83, so that's nearly 600-700 points of extra damage now. And we got a mythical Shadow Spark Hood, Nightblade Demolitionist. Okay. And then ooh, you have a star over your head. That means you're gonna die. You have been marked. Okay. Standing in the middle of a green goop. Maybe not the best of things, but I'm tanking through it, so I don't care. Oh, builds with good sustain, how they can make you careless. Or no, let's rephrase that. They provide you with a good opportunity to test the strength of your tank. See? Now it sounds much wiser. Hello there, noble. In a moment we're gonna have a look at what we actually picked up, because it did look very, very shiny. Oh. Someone wants to break through the door. Doesn't really realize that the door itself is closed. Oh, okay. You fixed it. Hello there, skeletal gargantuan. So you can just take a small step backwards and then the thing can't hit you. Okay. That's a lot of them. Priest in the back. Oh yeah. It's the one problem with undead. There's always more undead. So energy is draining down a little bit more aggressively than it otherwise would. But so far I haven't drank any energy potions yet, so we're doing pretty good in that regard. Let's have a look. Mythical Ether Reach. That's a bonus to ether damage, to energy regen, casting speed. That's gonna be bonus to casting speed, of course, is gonna increase energy usage, so this is probably gonna be a net energy drain. Ether and elemental resists, +2 to reap spirit, and -2 second recharge to reap spirit. On top of that, there are some Elbrecht's Ether Ray and Disintegration things for the Arcanist. And 10% chance on attack to cast Ether Cascade. 2 second recharge, affects up to 5 targets with a lot of ether damage. Okay. Elemental resist would be an upgrade, armor would be an upgrade, ether would be a side change with the chaos resist. We'll lose a little bit of OA and spirits, gain a lot of damage and energy and regen. And the cast speed, I think we already, on the magical thing here, already have 128% cast speed. So another 17 on top would put us at 145. That's about a net increase of just over 10%. So that would also increase my energy usage by about 10%. Right now it's 300 points per second. That would put it to about 330 energy per second. Let's see, 500 energy on top. Put it to 660, that's also 10%. Actually, I think this might turn out to be a net upgrade. We could definitely just keep this, it's level 94, so there's going to be 7 levels. And then just try it out once the time comes. 94 is one of those critical threshold levels again where things get upgraded. Just add it to the collection of items in stash. Hey, Valavian, the Wandering Soul. Another Skeletal Knight. Still no shields. Hello, another knight. And there we go. Next area. Misery. I do say that misery loves company. So here I am. Reducing the amount of people in misery. I think that's a net positive for the world.
That skill's not.
You are reflective. So far, not impressed with the damage output. And there we go. So there is a shrine down here. I think it was a desecrated shrine, so I might as well just trigger it since there is no cost to it. Not gonna get a bonus point from it, it's just gonna be for completion's sake, and of course there will be things pouring out and therefore we can kill them. While they walk in, we're just gonna loot whatever comes out here. Bloodrite gauntlets, that sounds chaos and bloody. Always take out the priest first, and that was already the bounty. Let's see. Pierce damage, bleed damage, vitality resist, fighting form, bloodbath on when you get hit. Alrightish, not helpful for this build. And indeed, this is desecrated. So let's trigger it and have some fun here.
Can't do that.
Double, triple hero actually. We got a Bloodthirster, we got a Corrupted, and we got a Frozen. And on top of that we got some of their bodies pouring in, and okay, they're serious now. They're doing damage. Okay, something is putting me in place with a cage. Okay, one is down. Blood Fountain, that also doesn't look all too fun. Okay, we got another wave of stuff coming out. Just double check. No additional heroes, just regular content, and that is fine. Trying to keep my Reaping Spirit out. And just trying to divide my damage across the entire group here to keep the Vitality Decay debuff up on all enemies. Reap your spirits. Because we can only target a single enemy consciously at a time, so if you use your damage over time to just take things out, things are gonna be pretty darn happy. Okay, and I think it's now just down to some add-ons and the boss himself. And there we go. One last boss. Lots of items dropped. And we're still alive, that's also an important detail of this entire fight. And indeed, 55 out of 55. We got some Spellstalker's leg wraps, cold and ether damage, chaos res, elemental res, chance to avoid melee attacks. So it's okay, but not great. Let's put these in the back here, and might as well put all the blues there to evaluate whether we want to keep them or sell them. Plagueborn Revolver, +1 to all skills, an Occultist, and Bloody Pox when you get hit. Defensive Bloody Pox is always fun. That's stuff that spreads like, well, like a plague. Ghosties on the other side. Okay, explains why they're still there, because I was not naturally passing by them. So the doorways through are usually just randomly blockaded. This time I can't go through there. I can go through the bottom lane here.
That skill's not ready.
If you're doing quests, sometimes there's also stuff happening in the prison pen over there. If you need to kill certain heroes or things like that. But it can also be treasure chest there, so it's not even a bad idea to go there. But first this priest must die. And after that we can move forward. Okay, it took quite a beating there. Wait, are you... Oh no, wait, you got Warlock back up, don't you? So I swear I saw multiple of those circles. Also components.
I can't do that yet.
Well, champion, do you have my shield? Nope, you did not have my shields. Ooh, you are electrified and you also look very... Well, actually, you look like you've got a large two-handed weapon. Not the loot I was looking for. Okay, so nothing really of interest in the rooms. Except for, of course, the treasure trove here. What's in the box? Dreadwalker Cowl blueprints, hey, and a tainted brain matter. Dreadwalker Cowl, that's +2 to Necromancer skills sets, but it has a tome. Yes, I did pick up another part of this set, I think the body armor. But for 2-parter you're getting 100% increased damage to your vitality and ether and vitality decay, on top of whatever it does. +2 to Drain Essence, +2 to Mark of Torment, no flat bonus to Necromancer skills. Makes it a little difficult to see it as an upgrade for the Soulless Gaze. And this Ether to Vitality conversion, that's also interesting. Oh hey, we did pick up a new shield. There's an interesting detail. A little bit more pierce resist, a little bit more lightning resist rather than fire resist. And the vitality resistance is also higher. Vitality, the retaliation is higher. And there's defensive ability on here rather than a bonus to damage types I don't have. This might be another upgrade. The fire and lightning resistance swapperoo is something that we can relatively easily deal with, I think. 53 fire means we're gonna be 11 points below max. But gaining 58 to lightning means it's going to be massively overcapped. And there is currently a rigid shell, which grants lightning resistance in our belt. So if we replace that with the fire version, then fire is going to be okay. And then in addition, we'll actually reduce the burn duration on us. So there's going to be a nice upside to that as well. So those shield upgrades, they're slowly pouring in. And no, as I said before, the component and augment systems in this game, they make it so much easier to just replace gear and then just flexibly compensate for some of the stats. So no, items are often good enough to just side grade into or just have small upgrades. Whereas in other games, oftentimes they have to be perfect, otherwise they're just useless. Okay, now we're walking into a boss fight with Zate Zelen, the High Priest. He can do a lot of damage. Just picking up all the loot. Getting all the distractions out of the way, so to say. Taking out most of the minions here and the priests. It's not cool if there's a priest healing your boss.
That skill's
And now that it is just one-on-one. It should be much more fine here. Okay. Standing in the fire, that might not be the brightest of ideas. Well, tanking the fire, probably very bright, but it's not very smart. But in the end, Zartazellen. Nope, not as scary as I've encountered him before. It is finished. And then we get a skeleton key and a blueprint to make skeleton keys. And then I will use it well at some point. Not today. So, it goes there. So, skeleton key, I already have it, so we can just sell that one for an iron bit or something. And I think that's going to be a very nice point to call it. We still have to go back to the old Akovia camp to hand in the rover quest. So we're going to get a little bit more XP, some rover XP, and usually lose some faction standing with the other faction. And indeed, we get 150 produced on that reputation. So how close are we now? 6,500 more points / kills needed to get them to Nemesis. Slowly working on it. For now though, I'm gonna thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you again next episode. Bye bye.